Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I really felt like I had to show you this game. This is a game from Thunder Awaken's Dark Mago. He is their mid lane player, and the biggest reason I want to show you guys this game is exactly what we're about to see here. If you take a look at the clock, we're 9 minutes and 46 seconds into the game, and he has Phase Boots, Soul Ring, and a Radiance. The game is not past 10 minutes, and he has a Radiance. He doesn't have a single kill, nor a single assist, so you can't tell me, oh, Speed, he gets fed this game. His team has a ton of tier 1 towers. No, they don't. They don't have a single tower. He doesn't have a single kill. So how in the world do you get a 10-minute Radiance just by hitting creeps? We're gonna take a look at how Dark Mago does it. Let's get into it. Also, I wanna tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like, actually, you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. So the first thing I do want to note is that this is a mid alchemist. A lot of the things that you're going to learn here today can be applied to the safe lane, but I will admit I actually think mid alchemist, while I don't necessarily think it's better than safe lane alchemist, I think it's very unique, and the reason why is you get a lot more levels as a mid alchemist. This causes bounty runes to be a lot more valuable, this causes you to have a lot more points in Greevil's Greed earlier on, and you can actually use acid spray super early into the game to farm nearby neutral camps, especially when you're on Dire. So the first thing I want to cover to really enable Alchemist as a mid laner is number one, your matchup. I think this hero is best last picked in pubs, specifically when you have a melee mid that you're against. Or if you're against a hero like Puck. I've actually seen Alch as a response pick to the very popular Puck right now, and the reason why is Puck simply doesn't pressure Alch enough, and if Puck tries to trade with Alch in acid spray, you get destroyed because Puck has no armor. However, he's leaning against a Pangolier this game, and kind of the same thing applies. Even though Pango has good armor, it's not enough, and you can't really trade in the acid. So basically, he's going to have a very heavy stats build, go for an immediate salve rush, and go from there. In terms of the first creep wave, you're basically going to look to do it not necessarily right away. So this is where a lot of people might go wrong. They might acid right away, and that can cause you to kind of not have enough time to secure the range when it comes up. But as we'll see here, he's going to hit the creep, and then acid. And it might not seem like a big deal, but basically, if you are able to hit the melee creep multiple times in a row, it will give you the ability to look to pressure the range creep if they do contest it or if they pull aggro. Obviously, this game 40R was late to the lane on the Pango, but either way, he's able to bully him off in the acid. You can see actively trading with the Pango when he's in the acid, which allows him to secure the range creep and 3 out of the 4 CS. From there, you always want to position the acids in a location that zones out the enemy and, also obviously hits the creep wave. So as we'll see here, he just puts it basically as far up as he can, right? Only the outer edge of the ring of acid is on the melee creeps, and this basically makes it really hard for any hero, ranged or melee, to approach the wave. As a result, he's able to get, once again, almost every single CS, currently 6 for 8, and he's in a really good position. And as the lane continues on, what a lot of people will do wrong as Alchemist is simply overtrade. And you can even see here from 40R's perspective, it's actually quite shocking how favorably Dark Mago actually trades into him. Like, I mean, for real, the Pango is nearly dead here. Obviously, he's not going to kill him. But the thing is, he's in a great position. He's now able to pick up the Soul Ring. When you pick up the Soul Ring, you should ship out a salve right away, because otherwise you're going to run out of mana. Run out of HP, and it's going to become a big problem. Either way, the main gist is you want to max your acid spray as soon as possible. Literally, max acid spray. He'll do that by level 7, completely skipping concoction, maxing his E second, of course taking, Chem Rage at level 6 and going from there. But the gist of this hero is very simple. When you have 2 points in acid, the wave dies extremely quickly. When the wave dies extremely quickly, you want to do one of 2 things. Pick up a water rune, stack the small camp, or block your wave if you're in a bad matchup. If you decide to be a psycho and just first pick this in your next game, well, what you should look to do is actually play a lot more around stacking the small camp and then farming it. It's obviously incredibly good with Greevil's Greed, and so you can do that. For instance, what we'll see here is the Pangolier has the opportunity or the ability to static the wave on the high ground here. So what Dark Mago does, instead of contesting it, he actually looks to farm the small camp with 15 Grievel's Greed stacks, or whatever you want to call it. As a result, every single small creep is worth practically the same as a lane creep, not in terms of XP, but in terms of gold. But because he farms it at this exact period of time, he acids around 247 here, he's able to kill it, or at least stack it, in time for the next camp. So you can see it's really, really efficient, and as, you know, he was off farming the small camp, the Pango is shoving in the lane, and now he can pull aggro and take a defensive stance in the lane. One thing that he also does, which is which is pretty funny considering he doesn't even have a bottle, is he literally runs and picks up the bounty rune. After he shoves the wave at minute 3, so keep this in mind, I'll just show you how this plays out. So he's gonna acid the wave that meets at about 3:17, right? The 3-minute wave. And if you acid that, you're gonna be able to get the bounty in a very convenient manner, because once again, the wave dies so fast in acid. And yeah, you just pick up the bounty, just for gold's sake. It's really nice, it's really good. From there, Dark Mago really puts an emphasis on shoving out the creep wave. For instance here, I would have expected him to stack the small camp, but that's not what he does. Instead, he just clears the wave, takes the water rune, and then looks to farm the small camp afterwards. So clearly he goes for a bit of a different approach from what I would have expected. Maybe this could be optimized, but maybe he just feels like if he doesn't shove out the wave right away, perhaps he'll be too low to do it, or he won't necessarily, you know, want to pop his soul ring and then try to farm the mid wave. Maybe that could cause him to get ganked. It is a concept that I've seen more and more as I've studied mid laners, which is if you can shove out the wave, often you do, to avoid potential ganks. It's, you know, easy for you to get ganked when you're shoving out the side lanes. Now, hopefully, all things going well, it's 38 CS to be fair, but all things going extremely well, you can now, with your level 6, look to, on Dire, drag these two camps together. And honestly, I think where the enemy went wrong is they didn't block these camps. I really think it's the name of the game against Alk to block his camps. I think the Tiny should come in here and do it. The Pango could do it. He could buy boots and windlace sentries and just run around and follow the Alk, but I don't think you can trade farm with the Alk. But what we're going to see here is, well, they're going to trade farm with the Alk. The Tiny does kind of come over and mess with them a little, but he doesn't really get any of the CS, and with this beautiful acid spray, which by the way, you cut down this tree, drag the creeps out, and then acid just on the edge, right where this kind of like circle thingy is. You kind of just acid right there, and with a lot of points in acid, the radius increases. And that's why you want to max acid. People will be like, nah, speed, I'm free farming, I'll max the E. The acid literally is better. It helps you drag camps together, makes it kill the camps faster, and Grievel's Greed doesn't really even scale that well. So really, it's just better to take acid every game. And from there, you're going to be glad to hear that it's generally just a rinse repeat. He shoves the mid wave, and then as long as he thinks he's not getting ganked, he's going to head over to this portion of the map and look to, you know, take this, whatever you want to call it, the Dark Mago special. These two camps together. It's very straightforward, honestly, very easy. However, you can't do this on Radiant, of course, so Dire Alk is by far better than Radiant Alk. On Radiant Alk, if you do decide to pick it anyway because you feel like you have the matchup mid, well, what you should do once again is put a priority on the small camp, and that's going to help you at least accelerate your game a little. Even if you don't have Dire, even if you're Radiant, you can still get an 11-minute Radiance as long as you're stacking the small camp every single time you can. And yeah, that's going to be about it. Just so you guys know, he had 2 camps stacked for him. He took 1 stacked small camp and 1 stacked large camp in his tri-camp. Not triple stacked, not quad stacked, just stacked, just 1 stack. And he has nearly a 9-minute radiance, and that is how this plays out, right? It's just how it is, right? Because when you're level 9 this early on into the game and you have max greed and acid, you just rip through camps at a pace that most heroes can only do 15-20 minutes into the game, if that. And as a result, you just are wildly overfarmed. Now, it is important to note what he does now with the Radiance timing. Number 1, at level 10, skip your talent, take a concoction. You don't want to have no point of concoction. It feels pretty bad when you get your Radiance. He's going to look to shove out mid here. Now, he does end up falling in a moment from now as he goes back mid. But basically, the main thing I want to tell you guys is when you get your Radiance, slow down the pace of the game. Really, slow it down. You just gotta chill. If you really want to win the game, I'm always getting tipped. I think they probably saw the Radiance and they're like, what in the world? We lost, guys. This game is so over. They have an Alk and it's 8-1. It's like, this game is done. It's so done. Even though he ends up dying in a moment, it just doesn't matter. But when you have your Radiance, chill. It's so good for farming. It's like how people see Radiance sometimes is they're like, oh, okay, I have Radiance. You know, it's time to get active. No. Radiance means it's time to farm more. Like, yes, you can get active, and we'll see it in a moment. He even goes Blink Dagger as his second item, so clearly he's actually looking to get relatively active. On top of that, I would like to mention that he took 15 attack speed to level 10, which I think is good, but I honestly think the Unstable Concoction Radius is a really good talent. But if you're snowballing, attack speed is probably just better. Either way, we'll even see his team pushing mid here. He doesn't bother to go mid. Just gonna look to take the Tricam. I will say that I think the Tricam is generally less efficient than your regular woods, but obviously it depends on what is more dangerous. It's more important that you get some amount of creeps rather than dying. But as we'll see here, 12 minutes into the game, a Blink Radiance timing, and he can look to get active. I mean, this is crazy. He's nearly level 13, and the Penguin is 9. I mean, and you can't be like, you can't look at this and say, oh my god, he's so greedy. He's taking up so much space on the map. Bruh, in like 2K, 3K games, everyone is still laning 12 minutes into the game. You know, like, you can't even say like, oh, Alk is some crazy greedy mid. He gets a 12-minute blink, if you're farming efficiently, 12-minute blink with 2 stacks, that's it, from his teammates, and then gets active with this Blink Dagger. But yeah, as you'll see, once you get the Radiance, he's still going to keep jungling, going to look to clear the mid wave when it comes in, right, pushes that out here. After that, he is kind of looking to get active. The thing is, he's halfway to his BKB, so obviously he's kind of considering that timing. Some Enchantress overextends in his jungle, he kills her off. After that, he's going to look to actually continue to chase, and yep, that's kind of the name of the game with this Alk pick. It's actually an active mid, which is why I think this is going to become relatively popular. Now, you might be like, Speed, you're nitpicking a game. I don't think so. I think Alchemist will be popular because I think he's pretty good against Lycan, one of the more popular offlaners right now. I think he's pretty good against Beastmaster. Might be like, why? Well, the early Radiance for the evasion, you help kill the units, Acid Spray kills the units, and because you have a stun built into your kit, you can lock down these pretty slippery unit heroes that are very frustrating to play against. It's just a great hero in the meta, I think, and honestly, I don't believe it's even that greedy of a mid. Another thing to note as well is that Unstable Concoction gives movement speed. A lot of people don't know this. When you're charging it, it gives you movement speed, and that helps you just auto-attack someone if you're near them, and close the gap when you're trying to blink stun. So this is one of the biggest buffs to Alk that a lot of players didn't even realize happened in Dota, because the hero wasn't popular when they did it. Either way, in this clip here, let's take a look at the execution. So generally what you're looking to do is pop your Concoction. You only want to pop it when you have a very clear jump and when you have Chem Rage. In general, keep in mind this hero kind of sucks without Chem Rage. It really is bad, so just chill for the most part. Really don't do that much. But yeah, he'll kite out a little bit on the Vessel timing. Unfortunately, you got to be a little bit careful about Vessel rushes. Can be a problem for your hero. I think he kind of wastes Acid Spray here, I will admit. Generally, the combo on this hero is blink in, throw the Concoction, drop the Acid. The Acid increases the damage of the Concoction, and of course, when they're stunned, you want to be hitting them with the minus armor. So I don't really love what he does here with the Acid. I think it was kind of a waste. It farms a bunch of Eidolons at least, that's cool. But it's generally a bit of a waste, and yeah, they take down the CK. This game is not looking good for the enemy, for WT. And yeah, that is a 15-minute BKB. And by the way, it gets worse, because of course, even though you hit your timings, once again, even though you have a BKB, even though you have a Blink Radiance, you might think, oh, Speed, I should get active. I should run at them. You can if they overextend. For instance, they caught them in their jungle. But as you'll see here, he's farming the Tricamp. Back at it. Slow down the pace of the game. Slow it down. Your hero's main timing is minute 20. Because hopefully you have 4 items. And we'll see that in a moment. All right, we'll see here. I mean, this is kind of crazy, right? Look at this item. 18 minutes in. He's nearly triple the net worth of their highest core. That is disturbing. But he's got an Assault Hereos. Very nice transition to Roche. I really like the draft from Thunder Predator, and the reason why I like it is they have an Initiator in the Kunkka and the Tusk, so heroes that can go in for Alk, because you don't want to try to blind jump with a Concoction and stun yourself. It's a good way to throw the game. They have a heavy physical damage comp, which works extremely well with Acid. Right, they have Acid combined with Bugs, combined with Bloodlust, combined with Tag Team. It's a lot of physical damage, so I kind of like what they're doing here. They have a lot of synergy between their heroes. The synergy enables them to take Roche as well, and then the Kunkka is just such a nice carry because it beats Enigma in lane, so they have a favorable lane matchup there, and it provides the tankiness in the frontliner that Alk wants on his team. That might seem weird. People are like, what? Alk's the tank. It's like, yeah, he is a tank, but he doesn't want to go in first, and it's a very simple reason why. Your stun is unreliable, it's clunky. So if someone goes in first and gives you vision, you get to jump whoever you want, or at least a decent target. As we'll see here, the Enigma, even though he has no chem rage, he's able to get a clean stun and click him to death. It's as simple as that, but that really is a big deal. If you try to run in first as Alk, you often have to instantly pop your BKB, largely defensively, just to make sure you can get concoction off, and that can cause some issues. Alright, but from here on out, the game is very simple. They get an Aegis, and now eventually, even though he jungles a little bit more, still going in the jungle, they're going to take a fight. As I said, he's going to go on the Enigma here. After that, he's going to, continue to run in. This is only because he has Aegis. Otherwise, he would generally kite out for your next concoction and next chem rage. After all, his blinking concoction will be up in the same time in this example. So that would be really nice to kite out. But he has Aegis, so he's clearly looking to just kind of kick them out of the area. Drops a stun onto the Pango, but realizes his team is getting got on in the backline. So what he does is he resets, joins in with the tag team, and is able to just chunk through the CK, who doesn't even look remotely tanky, even though he's one of the tankiest carries in Dota. And yeah, that's going to be about all for today's video, as this game ends in the next 4 minutes, as he gets a rampage 20 minutes into the game. It's definitely, if you want to talk about a hero that can abuse pubs, honestly, I don't think most people are good enough to enable this. I will be honest, but if you can really take what I'm saying in this video, execute on it, get good at the last hitting, not overforce bad fights, and then only go when you have a clean jump, let the enemy extend onto your side of the map as best as you can, you're really gonna pop off. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.